Saturday, the 16th of August, is the second ever weekend at Timmy's in North Queensland, Airlie Beach, where the weather is always epic. You can see motocross, there's going to be live music, but there is going to be the best skate jam event of the year. Some of the best skateboarders in Australia will be there. I'm going to be there on the microphone. You need to be there. So check out the Weekend at Timmy's Instagram for all the details, and there's a link to that in this episode's show notes.
Tried to hold us back, to hold us, tried to hold us back.
We will be here forever. Do you understand?
This week I catch up with the kind soul that is Andy MacKenzie. Those that know that Andy was the man behind the wildly successful distribution company Kwala Distribution, who enjoyed success through the late 80s, all through the 90s and into the early 2000s. Andy's story is one of great success, great loss, and great resilience, in my opinion. He shares about his perspective change and his approach to the second half of his life. Those that are unfamiliar with Andy and Kwala Distribution, you need to know that he was responsible for bringing in literally the best brands into Australia. He was responsible for bringing in the best pro skaters on tour, and those tours became like notoriously iconic for the culture in this country and in America. Just one example is, you may have heard of the anti-hero video Tent City. Andy organised that tour, and his connection to the industry in America was huge and did a lot for this country's skateboarding culture. I don't want to say too much more. It's a beautiful conversation. I got emotional. I'm emotional talking about it now, actually. So we laughed, we cried, and I hope you enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and get to know Andy MacKenzie, everybody. You'll be better for it. Cheers.
Hold us back.
That's what I'm saying. Forever.
Planet's gravity's trying to pull us in. Gravity in the band, slamming all the family gathering for hip hop. Your head over pepper McClides. I sever the time to earth.
Man, what a life you've had, though.
Pretty crazy one.
Do you often reflect on it and think, wow?
I can't help but reflect on it. Sometimes I try not to because it's painful. And it's funny because when I think or try not to think, the things that enter my head are generally the painful things.
Why do we do that?
I really don't know, and it's not fun, but it happens. And, I have learned over the years from talking to people and that I'm not the only one that happens to. So, yeah, that's what happens. So when I reflect on those things, I try to reframe them, rewrite the narrative, whatever you want to call it, and turn them into something a little less painful, so that when they come up again, I can draw on that reframing and hopefully feel a little less of a twinge in my heart or my head or wherever I'm feeling it.
So that's part of your healing journey?
I think it's, interestingly enough, I ran my business for 20 years. I worked really hard. I gave everything I had to give. I think losing it the way I did set me up for the second half of my life almost, and forced me to look at how I really wanted to live, and forced me into a healing journey. I've had a pretty traumatic life, and I won't minimise that for me. I've had a pretty traumatic life. So, just the second half of my life, I've been spending working on myself. I've found that to be the most important thing for me now.
What do you think the biggest shift in your approach to life is in this second half? So the first half, in my mind, you're quite a successful business owner and an entrepreneur in certain ways, but in the second half, what are you striving for?
Okay, so I can, again, I can only speak for me, but I look back at those days, and as wonderful as they were, and as many great memories as I have, as many beautiful people as I met, I need to move on, so that phone is pissing me off. Sorry, man.
Don't worry. It's like it's part of the process.
Oh, man.
It happens all the time. No, it's not even. It's nothing. That's good. You had it on silent. That's a start.
Yeah. Well, I just shouldn't have had it on at all. Okay, good. It's gone. So the second half, I'm looking at authenticity. I'm looking at who I really am, what I really want, and I see how that first part was kind of shallow.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of shallow. I think it was wonderful, but there wasn't a whole lot of depth to it, and I saw that change as the skateboard industry changed, and now I want to prove to myself, to my wife, to my children, to people in general, that a quiet and simple life can still be a valuable life.
Wow, man, this is such a common theme on this podcast, I tell you.
Wow.
It really is.
Well, that's good.
So many people, I think deep down that's all we want is peace. Peace between the ears.
Yeah. I think, peace is hard to find. Simplicity is hard to find. The minute I walk out the door, I'm confronted by, society and people and ego and rushing and whatever's going on out there. And I don't particularly want that.
Well, do you mind if I ask, what strategies are you putting in place then?
I'm a hermit. No.
Well, isolating.
Yeah, no. Look, again, it's a matter of, I'm lucky I have a beautiful wife who is on a really similar page to me, so we get to debrief a lot.
Okay.
We communicate super well. I've got someone who is with me that I can debrief with. And, that goes both ways, and it's a wonderful thing. So I get to process not only negative situations that happen outside the house, I also get to process good ones. We talk about those too, which is great. So, and, I think that's what it is. Life, to me, is suffering, right? And I also
you accept that?
Yeah, I have to.
Okay.
Yeah, if I fight it, I lose. So, life to me is suffering, but there are sparks of joy. There's little sparks of joy, and I got to take time out to notice those. So you're talking about strategies. Take out time to notice those little conversations, that might happen, or someone smiling at me or me smiling at them. Just, it's lovely when those things happen. Good interaction with someone in a cafe or whatever. I will, I don't take that for granted.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And they do happen constantly in any given day.
Yeah.
If you look for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be grateful for at the end of the day. Karen and I do a check-in at the end of each day where we run through. It's AEIOU, basically.
AEIOU.
AEIOU.
AEIOU. Okay.
Yeah. So with AEIOUGG.
Okay.
And we add the GG on the bottom because they're necessary. They're not.
Yeah. So what is the acronym then? I mean, they're vowels? What
They're vowels.
Excuse my ignorance.
I'm actually having a bit of a brain fade at the moment, but I'll give you them.
Okay. Let's go.
So A, I'll come back to. E is, have I done the exercise today? Oh, I know A already. Abstinence, idiot.
Abstinence?
What A is for abstinence. What have I abstained from?
Okay.
So I think abstinence is an important part of my daily routine. Alcohol, unnecessary spending, just overindulging in anything.
Gotcha.
So abstinence, what have I abstained from?
Yes.
E is exercise. Okay, so have I done the exercise today? Well, if I haven't, Karen will probably hold me to account with that. So she'll be like, "Oh, you didn't do the exercise today. What's up with that?" I is about me. So what have I done for me today? O is what have I done for others? U, do I have any unexpressed emotions? That's an important question because quite often in my daily life I will feel something, let's say it's sadness, and I won't want to burden Karen with that or anyone else with that. So I get a chance when we do our check-in. Do you have any unexpressed emotions? Yeah, I actually do. I'm really sad today. And then we have a small conversation about, or whatever conversation is necessary to process that sadness. So that's a good thing. G, what am I grateful for? That's the first G. And the second G is what is something good that happened today? And, quite often we'll get to grateful and I'll be like, oh, man, I'm grateful for my beautiful wife. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm grateful for my beautiful wife again. But really, if I think about what's happened in my day, I had a great interaction with the lady at the cafe the other day. I just finished skating. I'm super happy. I went to the cafe. I'm waiting outside for my coffee and I'm singing, right? Just under my breath, I'm singing. Lady walks over to me and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't understand." And she said, "Well, you were talking to me and I didn't hear what you said." And I said, "Oh, no, I was just singing." And she was like, "Oh, more people should sing." And I was like,
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, something to be grateful for, something small. Look for them, sparks of joy.
And you're still skateboarding?
Yeah, a couple of times a week.
A week?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a rough trot lately. I hurt my back. Then we've had a ton of rain, which has been really bad. The weather hasn't been the best. Then I got COVID, and now I'm skating again. So, yeah, a couple of times a week.
How's it changed for you since the early days? Like, what does it do for you now compared to back when you were younger?
That's such a good question because it's completely different.
Isn't it?
Completely different.
I'm noticing it too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a better skateboarder than I used to be, but I think I'm a different skateboarder than I used to be. When I was a kid, I would just drop in or, push really hard toward a bank or whatever I would do, and I wouldn't even be in my body. Now, like, I go to drop in, I take a deep breath, I tell myself to breathe and relax, and I drop in and I cruise around, and I'm completely aware of what's going on and where I am in the bowl and what's about to happen and what just happened, and I know where I'm heading next, and it feels great to be like that. Just so conscious of what I'm doing when I'm skateboarding. And when I think about skating as a kid, I can't remember doing the things that there's photographs of me doing. I'm like, wow.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember that. So, yeah. Interesting.
So you grew up in the Brisbane area, born and raised?
Yeah. Born in Balmoral. That's where I grew up. First few years of my life till I was about 7. There's a skate park right down the street from the house I was born in. Poor timing, something like that. And then we moved to Mount Gravatt. That was really good. Mount Gravatt's a great place. There's a primary school there that had the best basketball court for skateboarding in Brisbane. It had a big...
Why'd your family move?
I think, well, my dad was a real estate agent. He was like, yeah, let's move up in the world. I guess that was his thing, I don't know. But yeah, we just moved to to a nicer suburb or something. I don't know. But luckily for me, it was right near this bank. Yeah, it was, it's legendary in skateboarding, Brisbane skateboarding folklore. And I basically lived on the hill looking down on it. And so I'd just go to the lounge room window every Saturday morning, look out the window till someone rocked up, and then ride down the hill and go and skate. It was awesome.
What age range are we talking? How old?
So when I started skateboarding in 1974, but what we're talking about there, like being able to go down there by myself without supervision, I was about 12.
12.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, again, my mother used to look out the window, so I'd leave the house to go skateboarding at the wall, and my mum just was like hawk-eye binoculars, making sure I wasn't getting in anybody's car or...
Were they supportive of your skateboarding?
No, not really. No. Not until later, and we'll get to that. But my mum was... she basically gave me the go-ahead to leave my, bank job and go full-time with the business. So.
Okay, well, let's rewind a little bit before we get to that. So you started skating around 12. Your parents were not overly supportive of it.
No.
Yeah. Did you have a good relationship with your parents as a teenager?
Well, so I grew up in a very dysfunctional and traumatic home as a child.
Okay.
Yeah. So that has continued to play out in my life.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's not something I've been able to get over.
Okay. Yeah. So when you say play out in your life, how is it manifested? Is it been an influence on how you've behaved in relationships, how you've behaved in interactions? Is that how it comes out?
Yeah.
Or your behaviour?
Yeah, definitely. So in, I think, good and bad ways.
Okay.
So as a parent, I learned from my parents great lessons on how not to parent.
Okay.
So I became the generation in my family that went, that stops now. I'm not.
So you were consciously doing that as a parent?
Yeah.
From the start?
From before I was a parent, from planning to be a parent. And
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to be the father that does that to his children.
But, I'm not saying you were, but I've seen it and I've heard and maybe I've done it. It's you hear a lot of people say, I don't want to be like my father. But then they do end up behaving like their father.
Oh, yeah. So
do you know what I mean? Because they just literally don't know how to handle these new situations with their own children.
Yeah. So as a parent, I think I'm different from my father. As a human, there's definitely similarities. I've obviously struggled with my mental health pretty much all my life, and I didn't know how to cope with it, particularly after my mother died when I was a kid, or 23. I call that a kid. When she passed away, that was it for me, and I pretty much became full-blown alcoholic for years. Pretty high-functioning one. But
absolutely.
At the same time, I was drinking a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just perpetuating the poor mental health, ultimately.
Yeah.
But, did you find, though, that the drinking... You're obviously maybe self-medicating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And then it's did you feel like I know, because, I've had issues with alcohol as well. And for me, AA was really a big thing in helping me with that. And I just found the cycle I was in for so many years was numb the pain, then with alcohol, and then but you can only do that so much before the pain emerges again, and then you're on this cycle of numb it again,
yeah,
drink again, numb it again.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I drew. I made a promise to my mum when I was about 10 that I would not be an alcoholic like my father.
Right.
So it's not like I have gone. I haven't done AA. I never spoke to a GP about it. Blah blah blah. I have spoken to lots of people about it, but that's been sitting in the back of my head all my life. The promise I made to my mother.
Interesting.
So it's like I've had this strange relationship with alcohol where part of me loved it and part of me was like, you made a promise to your mother. This is bad. You can't do this.
Shame around that.
Yeah, massive. Yeah.
So you had a good relationship with your mum?
Yeah, she was awesome. Yeah.
And what about your dad?
Not so much. As a child, I never went without anything. He was fairly absent, though. He worked very hard in his business, and whenever he didn't get home till late at night. I think real estate back then was deals were done at night in bars and clubs and stuff. And so he would come home drunk most nights. And generally speaking, not very happy.
Yeah.
So we would cop it. Yeah, which was hard. And that was most nights. And, I pretty much saw things no one should ever see. So.
Do you feel like you're living in fear a lot as a kid, as a young person? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, fear became like a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like always in that fight or flight.
Yeah, kind of go to bed and make sure I was in bed before Dad got home. Make sure I didn't get out of bed when he got home.
Okay.
And just hear all the chaos, but just not wanting to be a part of it. And just, this is when I was young.
Yeah.
When I was a bit older, I kind of stood up for Mum a bit more. But
yeah. So, what were your school days like? Were you a good student at school?
It's funny, because I look back at that now, and to talk about that whole reframing process that I do. So no, I wasn't. I was a good kid, super good kid, but I wasn't a good student. I never caused any trouble in class. I think I got good lessons from my home as far as respect for elders and teachers and authority in general and women, and so I think I got all those foundations from home, which were great. So I never made trouble in the classroom, but it's not like I listened or did my homework or even sat tests, So, no, it wasn't great. And I look at that now because part of me regrets that, part of me feels shame over that, part of me, really doesn't feel good about that. So to reframe it, I go, how am I supposed to actually go through the nights I went through every night and get my homework done well and then, not get any sleep and go to work and go to school and function the next day?
Yeah.
And I didn't. And maybe the teachers knew because the teachers were all really nice to me. I had a good time at school. I was a bit of a loner. So
I was going to say, socially, I feel like you would have been very social at school. You would have had a good social circle and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't bad. I was a bit of a loner. I've always liked my own space.
Oh, okay. So it's by choice. Mm-hmm. What kind of career aspirations did you have at that age as a teenager? What were you thinking about after school?
It's funny, Did
you have any?
Well, not really. When I was really young, I wanted to be an armadillo, and I think that's quite funny because, I know. But my brother would say to me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was, about 7 or 8, and I'd be like, "I want to be an armadillo." And now I look at that and go, "Yeah, no wonder I wanted to be an armadillo growing up in the house I grew up in."
Well, because they got that protective shell.
Yeah, they can just get all crawled up inside.
Right.
So, yeah.
Man.
That was pretty weird. But anyway, moving on past that phase.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just like, it makes sense.
Yeah. It does to me too. But no, not really. I didn't have any career aspirations. I actually was really good at rugby at school. So I played a lot of rugby, played, in the first 15, all that kind of stuff for a couple of years. And then because I was good at football, I got offered a job with the Commonwealth Bank.
Right.
And so I left school halfway through the year and took that job. And they were like, oh, well, one catch, you've got to play football for us.
Wow, like a scholarship.
Yeah, kind of, but I never even went to one training session. So
What do you mean? Like
I just took the job and
just played on the weekends or
No.
just didn't play at all?
just didn't go.
In what capacity were you employed as?
So
Bank teller.
Yeah. Like, so I started right at the bottom, filing clerk and worked my way through. I'd been in the bank for a year, and they identified me as being it was called promising young officer, which basically meant they were going to train you to be a manager.
Right.
And I was 18.
So there was potential for making good salary.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I had whatever career I wanted with the bank, it was there sitting in front of me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the banks have got some money about them too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they got more than anybody else. Yeah, but no, it was good. They were good to me, and we'll talk about that more. But yeah, they were really good to me.
Were they? So how long did you stay with them for?
I worked for them for 5 years, 83 to 88.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, my mother gave me she gave me a blessing basically to leave and continue with skateboard distribution on a full-time kind of.
So can we get into that? So what, did you start a distribution while you were still at the bank as a side thing? Or
Yeah.
You started to tinker with it?
Yes.
So how did that start?
Okay, so I just skateboarding's my life. Always, since I picked up a board in 1974, it's my life. And I just wanted to immerse myself in it as much as I could.
Yes.
I had no real aspirations to start, a business. I just wanted to be part of it more. I had no real intention of, distributing the next big thing or anything like that. I loved all the small companies. So I sent a few letters, just wrote letters, snail mail. And a couple of people got back to me and said, yep.
Who were those couple of people?
Okay, so
let's go.
The first company I distributed was a company called Placebo in Arizona, and they made JFA skateboards.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was really, and I loved that because JFA was a band as well as, they were a band of skateboarders. So that was awesome. And again, I'm not, importing huge amounts. I'm not selling huge amounts, but I'm involved, right?
Right.
I was already, judging contests and putting on contests and all that kind of stuff prior to starting distribution. So it was just another way to, spend more time with skateboards.
Can we get an insight into how slow the actual process was? So, for example, like you wrote a letter to these companies. You said, I want to sell your boards in Australia. Mm-hmm. And then how slow was the process from them then like sending boards, then they arrive in Australia, and then getting them into shops?
Yeah.
Like, I know the process is a lot faster nowadays.
Yeah.
What are we talking here? Like, how hard was it?
Months.
And
phone calls in the middle of the night and stuff like that.
Landline phone calls.
Yeah. I didn't even have a fax machine, It was, landline phone calls in the middle of the night on my parents' phone, which they paid for.
And it cost a fortune for the call.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
And it'd be like, and so what was the first run of boards you got? Like how many, what did they send you, a box of what?
I think I got 60 boards.
You got 60?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It was pretty, I was quite happy with that. It was good. And I've still got a couple of them downstairs. Didn't sell them all.
Way, no, you've got to show me.
They're all tucked away at the moment.
Okay.
But, yeah, they're awesome.
And so had you already lined up skate shops or how you were going to sell them before they arrived? So,
no idea.
So what they
at
arrived.
all. And then I just start driving around going, do you want any of these? I had no idea.
Well, just turning up to skate shops, surf shops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody bought any.
Really?
Well, yeah.
So were you stressing like you had this stock now? Like, I mean, were they giving you like a 30-day account and stuff? Like, how did it? Like,
No one in the skateboard industry gives accounts. Well, they didn't.
So you had to
then.
front the money.
Yeah. And then every shop wants 30-day account. So, you pay up front, you ship it in, you sell it to a store, you wait 30 days. The whole process is difficult. Always was.
Never got easier.
No, it's a difficult process.
So then from those early days, like what was the moment when things started to kick off? Was there a pivotal point?
Yeah. So the pivotal point is some friends of mine and I built a skate park. That was in 1989. It was called the Skate Shed. It was in Brisbane at Maruka. It was one of the best parks in the world at the time. We got tons of visitors. So the park itself wasn't overly successful because we blew it. We built a ramp park and street skating was just blowing up. So, but all the vert skaters wanted to skate it. So, building that park with my friends was the point where things began to change because Steve Douglas rang me one day and he goes, "Oh, you've probably never heard of me. My name's Steve Douglas." I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay." My name's Steve Douglas and I was just wondering if I'd come and stay with you for a little while and skate your park. And I'm like, "Yeah, when will you be here?" He's, "Tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, this is going to be great."
Had he started New Deal?
No, but the idea had been birthed. So he knew he was starting New Deal, but he hadn't started it yet. So we spent, I don't know, a week or 10 days together. We really got on very well. We had very similar people. And he said to me on the last day, he said, "I've got this thing I'm doing. I can't tell you anything about it, but you're going to be involved." And I'm like, and I just let it go. I'm like, "You're right, mate, whatever." And just let it go. I didn't think any more about it until I got a phone call one day telling me that I was going to distribute New Deal. It all moved real quick. The first thing Steve said was, "You better get yourself a fax machine." So that was pretty funny. But no, I didn't fully grasp what was going on.
Okay.
When he first spoke to me, I was like, what does this entail? How much money am I going to need? Where is that going to come from? But it all worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious about some of the practicalities of what sort of board sales were happening? Like, I'm curious about numbers. Like, how many boards were being distributed through Australia? Like, what was the industry? Give us a snapshot of the industry.
Okay,
at the time.
well, it was great. It was fun. Them's were the days, as they say. It was really fun. Skateboarding is a family, right?
Right.
And back then, the industry was too.
Okay.
So it was really fun. Steve and I were friends first, and then we did business together. Yeah. The industry, I think we were getting in like 50 of every board.
Okay.
And selling them quite well. But you got to remember there wasn't, I don't know how many companies there are these days trying to sell skateboards and, direct out of China and whatever else is going on, But there wasn't very many skateboard companies back then.
Like brands.
Yeah. So I think everyone, well, not everyone, some companies are doing better than others, but the companies that were doing well were selling quite a few of each unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the knock-on effect then of business growing?
Yeah.
Was things like, you get a new warehouse, you start employing some people?
Took a lot of time. So I started skateboard distribution in 1988.
Yeah.
I didn't get a warehouse until about 1995, 1996.
Oh, that long.
Yeah.
And still working at the bank through that whole time?
No. I left the bank in 88.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I did run the business from the skate park for a little while, but that was, like I said, the skate park didn't do very well and it closed down and it just wasn't functional doing it out of there.
Yeah.
I used to rent houses and basically just set them up as little warehouses.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, and I would distribute out of the house.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I used to do that. And then even I bought a house in 1994 and upstairs, downstairs was my office.
Is that when you had a mini ramp in the backyard?
Yeah. Did you come there?
I did. Did it have a little curve in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it.
It was
It's
fun
like a
as.
little 2 or 3 footer.
Yeah, it was the only space I had to build a little ramp.
And it was just, yeah.
It was fun as.
Yeah, just as like a little backyard. It was like, I remember it just had like a nice garden as well.
Yeah, we had a pool and the whole 9 yards. It was good. So, yeah, that was kind of my deal. That's how I distributed. Like I had downstairs all set up as offices and I had a little, sales office down there and racks for all the boards. And, yeah, it was cool. I loved doing business like that. And, that was the funnest it ever was.
But is it the funnest ever? Because, like, I hear a lot of businesses, like, they have they're going really well, and then it's like, if they had stayed at that level, but then the desire to grow bigger, that's when things start to go off the rails. Like, so did you ever get to that point where I was like, look, things are going well here, but we can go bigger. And then that means bigger overheads, more staff, more problems. Is that did you have that moment as well?
No.
No, okay.
I never wanted the business to grow
Interesting.
out of my house, but I had no choice.
What set that off? And can I just throw this out there? Was it when you got the DC Shoes distributorship?
So, no, DC, when it first started, was small. It was great. There was only Colin and Danny's shoe, and they were great. They were small. It was, 500 pairs of each, and it was great.
Yeah.
And, could easily do it out of the house.
Yeah. Do you reckon we turn that volume down a tad on the... Do you mind?
Let's just turn it
There
off.
you go.
There you go. So, yeah, no, it was great. I'll always be grateful to Ken and Damon for giving me that opportunity. It was wonderful. But, after a little while, Ken and Damon lost control of their own company.
Yeah, so Ken Block and Damon Way.
Yeah. So I think to a degree they lost control of their own company.
In what way?
Well, I wasn't having meetings with them anymore. I was having meetings with whoever, their CFO or their CEO or whatever. And, of course, what are they about? They're about profit. They're about money. They're about whatever. And, and that's business, right? But unfortunately for me, that's not why I got into the skateboard industry. I love the family of it all, and the people who are in it, who are my family, are still my family.
Yes.
Even though I don't do business with them anymore, they're still there for me. The people who lost sight of family, relationships became all transactional. All the niceties disappeared. And unfortunately, I was left with no choice but to grow.
Why? Because the demand was so high.
Yes, so demand was high. It got high around, around the early 2000s. The demand was high. I picked up distribution of other brands, and I picked up distribution of brands all along. But around that period, I got some big brands, and DC was obviously exploding. They wanted X% of growth every year. And everybody wanted growth. And in my mind, it was not sustainable growth. And that put a lot of pressure on me, and that pressure went down through my staff and into my sales team, and and it really bummed me out.
So it wasn't fun anymore.
No, not at all.
But is that still around the same time you were like bringing pros out?
So I never lost that because that was fun.
Oh yeah, dude.
Sponsoring riders, fun. Having a team, fun.
Tours,
fun. I mean, I don't know, you want to talk about tours, and I don't know how many tours I did since 1988, but I reckon in that 20 years I did 30 plus. Yeah, we were doing at least 2 a year there for a while.
And put it in context for those that are unaware, like the caliber of professional skateboarders you were bringing out were literally the best in the world.
It was
like, rattle off some names. Like I remember Colin McKay, Moses Okonen was one that just comes straight to mind.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It was so good, and I got to meet some really lovely people.
Yeah.
I remember when Scott Bourne, for instance, came out.
Yeah.
I was really quite intimidated because everyone used to want to stay at my house. So I had like an area all set up for visitors to stay. And, yeah, I was quite intimidated that Scott was coming because he just seemed like such a heavy thinker, and, he had the black arm and all that kind of stuff. And when I met him, I was just like, you are gold, mate.
Just a good human.
Oh, gosh.
He was the first person I've ever seen with a sleeve tattoo, but it was like a full sleeve, just all blacked
black
out
arm,
with a love, was it? And then a love heart.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like,
And he had friendship around his neck as well. He was an awesome dude, and I'm sure he still is. But, and then, so there was people like him, and then all the way through, Danny Way. Underrated guys that I brought through would be Scott Johnson.
Yeah, dude.
Dave Durran. Never got accolades they deserve. Those guys were unbelievable, and unbelievable demo skaters, just so consistent. But
through DC, I remember you brought out like Rick Howard.
Yeah, we did a wonderful DC tour. That was so good.
Yeah. Jeff Rowley, I remember you brought him in.
No, I didn't.
He went there.
No, but I didn't bring Rowley. I brought Musker came out, John Cardiel several times. We did Tent City tour.
Yeah.
We did Black Label versus Decca tour.
So what up? You organised Tent City.
Yeah.
Was that through you?
Yeah.
And then Anti-Hero made that
video.
That video is like iconic.
Yeah.
No way. I didn't know that was because you brought them out for that.
Yeah.
No way.
So they came out, their first thing was the Australian Bowl Riders Championships up the coast at Caloundra. So that was my contest. And so they came out for that, and then we did the Tent City tour. Yeah.
So who was on that? Like Julian Stranger? Well, the whole Anti-Hero team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Andy Roy.
Tony Moriana.
John Cardiel.
John, yeah, everybody.
So legendary, Andy.
Yeah. But it's funny because I did so much. I was so busy doing that I didn't document things very well, and I didn't keep much stuff. So, it's not like I have filing cabinets full of tour flyers and tour itineraries and all that stuff. And I'm really disappointed about that. But at the same time, like I said earlier, sometimes it brings me down. But, Tent City was us. And
Hindsight's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And sometimes it's cruel. But yeah, no. I was so busy. What I was going to say is I was so busy doing. I didn't document things well, and but that's okay because I was having a ball. Not many people get to hang out with the caliber of humans that I was, and I was very lucky because I can't really remember, maybe all but one kind of iffy situation with a pro that, you know, it was difficult to manage. I'll just put it like that.
A tour situation.
Yeah. And
To be expected. Tours get wild.
Yeah, but I can only really remember one. Lots of them. I remember one because we did a couple of hell ride tours too, and there was one where everyone was staying at my place. It was, you know, Coco Santiago and Jake Phelps and Julian and Andy Roy and, you know, unbelievable group of people. And, you know, I'm fast asleep and it's early in the morning. I don't know what time, like 5 o'clock or something. And Jake's got Motorhead, you know, Ace of Spades on my stereo, like blowing the roof off my house. And like I come running out and I'm like, turn that down. And he's like, let's go skate. Who is so into skateboarding.
Phelps. This is Jake Phelps.
It was great. And another fun one I'll tell you really quick was on the 411 Australian vacation. We had a bunch of really cool guys out. We went, while everyone was staying at my place, they went into the casino in Brisbane, right? And you want to come, Andy? No, I don't know what casinos are for. They wouldn't even know how to play. And they're like, oh, you know, no worries. And so I sent them all in, put them all in a cab and sent them off to the casino. And I just went to bed, you know, left the front door open. They were going to come home, find their own way home. And I don't know what time it was, but it was, you know, early morning, and there was this huge racket coming from their room. And it was like a big, like, dormitory sleep out kind of thing on the side of my house where they all used to sleep. And there was a huge racket coming out of there. I'm like, oh, God, the neighbours are going to be fuming at me. And so I storm in there, like, to quieten them down, and there's money everywhere. $100 bills, like, in the air, on the floor, covering the beds. I'm like, what have you guys done? And they're like, they'd won over 30 grand.
No. And what? Then they were just balling and throwing it around.
It was hilarious. Anyway, we get in the van and we head off on tour. And
who was it exactly?
You
don't know. I can't remember.
I can't really remember. I know who won the money, but
some visiting pros.
Yeah, I'm not going to say who it was, but it was funny. We got there. We're in the van. We're on the way, and we always used to stay at nice enough places. You know, we never really. You know, it wasn't 5-star, but we stayed at nice hotels and stuff. I wanted everyone to be comfortable and have a good time. And anyway, we get to the hotel and the guy who won all the money goes, oh, just take me to the Hilton. So, yeah, we drop him off at the Hilton.
Amazing. Man, I wish you could tell me. I wish you could tell me who it was.
Oh, well.
Don't tell me. Tell me after.
Yeah, I'll let it slip.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so lots of fun.
Man, it must have felt like it was never going to end.
Yeah, it like I said, it was just go. And I did some wonderful things just for the sheer hell of it. Like, I did that Beer City tour, and, you know, that was, and people used to question the Kwala's integrity or my integrity or whatever as far as skateboarding goes. I'm like, man, people like.
Why? Because you were successful.
I think, you know, because we grew, and, you know, I don't know, but we always did the little companies. Little companies would come to me and go, will you give us a chance? And I'm like, yep, for sure. Because if no one gave me a chance, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm going to give you one. Yeah. So I always gave the little companies a chance. And Beer City rang and said, you know, would you consider bringing, you know, a couple of the riders out? I'm like, hell yes.
All right.
So, yeah, it was Tim Cooler, Scott Smiley and Dwayne. And like, what an amazing time. And to get out, you know, to be able to hang out with Dwayne Peters, who inspired my skating so much in that, you know, in 1980. It was just like such a blessing, such a gift.
He's a founder, you know, he's the man. Like, he's the OG.
Yeah, it was great. So we did a couple of tours just for the sheer hell of it, just because we wanted to.
And also you could. You had the capacity to do it
Yeah, definitely.
because you weren't struggling.
No, we weren't struggling. But I used to I think I was generous to a fault. I think I put a lot into skateboarding, man.
I know. Oh, I know.
You know, I put
A lot of people know this. You know that.
And there's, at a time, particularly in the early 90s when nobody was doing anything for skateboarding, we continued to do stuff.
Yeah.
Salman and Alan, we bought out, the lake guys, we bought out, John Cardiel and Ron Carnegie.
Ron Carnegie.
Ed Templeton, Justin Gerard and Maury.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything at this time.
This is when we're talking small wheels, oversized pants.
Yeah.
Really slow skateboarding.
Yeah. But still pretty amazing. Like when you look at someone like Ed and what he was able to do back then.
Oh, man, he was the best.
Unbelievable.
Like, because, it's often spoken about the depression of the industry in the 90s, the early 90 period, but and you were functioning then. So you were still, despite that, you were going okay.
We were going fine.
You were surviving.
Because I was so little.
Right.
I could move around real quick.
Yeah.
So I was flexible. Because I was little, I was flexible.
Gotcha.
And even though, so I hadn't experienced a downturn yet. Like I was growing through that period because I started at the right time. I started in the late 80s, very small. And so I had only ever experienced growth.
Okay.
Even when everybody else was complaining, I'm like, this is growth. I'm running tours. Let's get Cardiel out. Let's have some fun, So, yeah.
Because you're a skateboarder.
Yeah.
Not a businessman.
That's right. And good and bad, I guess.
I was talking to Aha. You know Aha?
Yeah.
Andrew, yeah, he recently said, I think he said, the quote was, skateboarders shouldn't be businessmen and businessmen shouldn't be skateboarders, right?
Yeah. It's probably something like that.
So where do you fall on that? Bit of column A and column B.
I probably wish there were more skateboarders that were in the business and skateboarders that didn't hand over control of their companies to people who don't have skateboarding's best interests at heart.
Do you think it's just the money becomes too lucrative, too enticing?
The whole goal of running a business, if you go to university and get an MBA, they're like, you start up a business, you make it successful, you grow it as far as you can, then you sell it. And I'm like, but I'm here for the long haul. I don't want to sell my business. I want to hand it on to the people who've helped me grow it, but I don't want to sell it. And, we had a couple of offers, through the years, and I turned them all down. But
Come on.
I always...
Who from? Steve Rocco?
No, I'm not telling you who. But I always... There's people within my business who I was, really working hard to mentor into being business owners.
Right. So you did have a bit of a vision for the long game.
I had an exit strategy.
You did have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't sure because a lot of skate operators don't.
Yeah. No, I had already given ownership 5% of Kwala to one of my staff.
Interesting.
Yeah, and my intention was to give more ownership to more staff members, not many, but for them to take on ownership and shareholding of the company, and then me, still own some shareholding, but basically be a consultant on the side and go skateboarding more.
And keep the brand and the dream alive.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's so rad.
Yeah, that was what was supposed to happen. And then in the year that was supposed to happen, that's when I found out that I'd been hideously betrayed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Can we go there or not really? Or we just want to leave it at that?
Yeah, I think just leave it
at that. Okay.
Yeah. I had been betrayed. There was...
a large loss of money?
large loss of money
Okay.
and mismanagement. And, you know, like I said, I did what I was good at, and I employed other people to do what they were good at. And I considered them family, and I trusted them implicitly. I did a lot of work in my business around congruence and integrity, and I passed those values. I believe I passed those values on to the people who worked for me. But there was one person who obviously didn't get the lessons.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when bad stuff happens to people, they become hardened, you know. Mm-hmm. And I've always seen you as like a skateboarder.
Yeah.
Soft soul, kind soul.
Yeah.
Did that experience harden you?
No. Thank you. Because I'm not. No, if anything, it softened me.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think.
In what way?
Well, I just think love and kindness became more important. You know, like, so I lost the business shortly after, my marriage fell apart. I became, you can imagine what state I'm in. I'm not in a very good state at this point. And then I pretty much I became the carer for my kids. And that was great because it saved my life, pretty much. So, tough times. But it softened me, I got to be, I'm with my kids all the time. I didn't want to be the hard person. When I found out what had happened, when I finally worked it out, I quit drinking straight away and just went, how am I going to respond to this? I can't, obviously there was a lot of tears and a lot of anguish, but at the same time it was like I want to respond to this like an adult.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to come out fighting. I didn't want to.
Was the marriage breakdown a byproduct of that turmoil?
I would say so. Yeah. There were a lot of relationship breakdowns as a result of that turmoil.
Yeah.
A lot of people walked away.
Listen, just for history's sake, tell us let's go over the brands that you got in. Let's rattle off some for all those skate nerds out there. Let's go. Come on. I'm going to throw some out there. We know you had DC Shoes. We know you had Black Label. I know you had World Industries.
Yeah.
And all the brands that were under World Industries.
Yeah. New Deal, Element.
You had Element.
Yeah.
Before Element was actually went corporate, right?
Yeah. So we got caught up in that, unfortunately.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'd done Element since day one. I did Element when Andy Howe was still the owner, and it was Underworld Element.
Yeah.
So I did Element from day one, and then it evolved into Element, then they sell to Billabong, and it just is a mess.
Was it another case of now you're having phone calls with CFOs and stuff?
I just lost distribution of.
Oh, okay.
One of my biggest companies overnight.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat, eh?
And, and that's okay. Business is business. And I guess I was playing with the big boys. So, whatever.
So what was it? Element would have been huge. And then you would have had Spitfire, Indy.
Yeah, Anti-Hero.
And then you had those rad clothing brands like Drawers clothing.
Yeah, so we did Drawers and Dub.
I loved Drawers. I still love Drawers. It's not around anymore.
Yeah.
And Special Dub, or that snowboard Dub clothing. That was so
cool. That was done by the DC guys as well.
That was all under DC,
yeah. Yeah, Drawers and Dub. And
you had the coolest DC. You had the coolest shit.
Yeah, I was really lucky, people came to me. We did a good job with New Deal. And people were like, oh, we want to be a part of that. Let's go there, And I think people were like, oh, he only operates out of his house. We don't care. He's sold a lot of skateboards and he's a nice guy. And, You know, we want to be a part of what he's the one that's doing the tours. Let's have some fun with him.
See, I want this to be your message to people. From where I'm sitting, it's like it's not like you're a savvy businessman, but you were good at developing good, solid relationships with people.
I think relationships has always been my strong point.
So not necessarily savvy, maybe lucked out with some timing.
Definitely got lucky.
So
yeah.
with the timing.
Yeah.
But you were going into these things with like relationship focused.
Yeah.
So like, hey, I want to be mates with Steve Douglas.
Yeah.
And he's I respect him.
Yeah. I mean, not quite like that, but yeah, something along those lines. And I think I did become a very savvy businessman. I think I had to, or else, you know, people like Rocco aren't going to give me distribution of World Industries and, you know, Blind and all that stuff without considering, you know, that I'm a good businessman.
What was Rocco like to talk to on the phone?
I only really talked to him face to face, and he always was lovely.
What, when you'd go to the States or vice versa?
Yeah. He was always really nice.
At the World Factory or the World Warehouse?
Yeah, or, you know, trade shows or whatever. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I never had a problem. He wanted to play chess with me one day. I think he really loved chess. He offered me a discount on my order if I played chess and beat him. I've never played chess in my life. The only time I wish I could play chess.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and he was happy for you to be the Australian distributor.
It was his idea.
Yeah. Did they come on when the whole Wet Willy and Flame Boy stuff?
Yeah, so we did all that. Yeah.
But you didn't have them before that, prior to that?
Depends what you're talking.
Like, did you... Yeah, like, because, you know, World Industries... There was World Industries before Flame Boy.
So, yeah, I guess we got it around
like
Devilman time.
Okay. So who was writing for him then? Like, still Kareem Campbell and all
Yes.
that?
We did a World Industries tour with...
Because you brought Kareem out.
Kareem out, yeah. Marcus McBride.
Yeah, I remember.
And there was...
You brought Day One Song out.
And Day One.
Day One.
Yeah.
Do they stay at your house and stuff?
Yeah.
It's a trip, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I couldn't be more grateful to everybody for all the wonderful experiences that I've had. Yeah, I think, you know, I worked really hard at becoming everything I needed to be for other people. And now's my time to be everything I need to be for me, for Karen, for my children, for my dogs, for my extended family. That's my focus now. So I don't... I'm still about other people, but it's primarily about me. Yes. And if I want to give my best to Karen, I've got to be the best me I can be.
It's like the analogy, man. You got to put the oxygen mask on first before you can help other people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the business obviously ended.
Yeah.
Then you had some personal issues, relationship-wise. So do you mind if I ask, like, how were you earning an income after Kwala?
I really wasn't. I guess I set myself up quite well. I've been living on, the smell of an oily rag for a while, and it's fine. I'm simple. I'm a simple person. I kind of thought, naively, that people would come to me and go, "Do you want a job, Andy?" Blah blah blah, and a few people did, but I also realised that they weren't. The heart wasn't in it, so I turned a couple down. And I didn't know if my heart was in it either,
Gotcha.
I want to be a skateboarder. I just want to ride my skateboard. I want to listen to music. I want to do art. I want to be a dad. I want to be a husband. I don't want my life dictated to me by business or anything anymore.
Yeah, dude.
I just want to choose, I just want to do life on my own terms.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what I've always done, even right up until the skateboarding business became fully transactional. I've always just done my thing. And I still did it, even when it became big business, because I still toured Dwayne Peters, and I brought Jeff Grosso out for the old school skateboard jam, and I did stuff that I wanted to do. I did it on my own terms, whether people liked it or not. And yeah, people used to complain, "What are you doing a Beer City tour for?" Because why not? Because it's going to be fun.
It's going to be cool.
And
But what would you do different if you could, like hypothetically?
Wow.
I know it's a big question, but there must be a few things that you would have done different in business and life.
Oh, mate, I've got so many regrets.
Well, you have got regrets. See, this is what I'm curious. Do you actually have regrets?
Yes.
Like, would you change it? And maybe you needed to you needed to have these experiences to get you to where you are now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what if you didn't? You might be dead. Like, I often think about me, like, if I had a lot of money in my 20s and 30s, I think I'd be dead.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Yeah. I think...
I'm grateful I didn't.
Yeah. I was so focused and so driven at that time. Seriously, I was doing my little zines and magazines, Subvert and stuff like that, and running the business during the day, shooting all the photos at night, coming home. I had my little dark room. I'd develop all the photos at night. I'd work 20 hours a day. I was doing, ridiculous hours every week.
So you change that? Work less, not as hard?
Yeah. I mean, I have multiple health issues now, and it's because I've worked hard and played hard. And if I could pass on, if there's a message to pass on to people that are younger than me, and particularly my children, it would be, my kids have a really well-balanced and disciplined approach to adulthood. And I think that's important for everybody. I think there are changes that I should have made probably in my late 20s, early 30s that would have had a big impact on my life now. Like I said, I worked really hard. I played really hard. I hadn't... The whole time I ran my business was... I basically set it up in... You talked about hindsight. So I basically set my business up so I didn't have to deal with the grief of losing my mother. And I didn't do that consciously, but I didn't have to process that grief because I put all the energy into the business.
So it was a way of avoiding the grief?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. The grief of losing my mother and the trauma of my childhood. Absolutely.
So I had to numb out.
Yeah. In a kind of...
Like a workaholic.
Yeah.
That's a workaholic.
So, yeah, I was a workaholic and an alcoholic, and it was all acceptable to society. So good on me.
Yeah, it's like he works so hard, and that's a respectable, admirable thing in our society, but it's not a healthy thing.
No.
And
Definitely
then alcohol's legal, and it's like, oh yeah, he just loves to have a few beers. He's right.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So that's what I believe now. And when I lost the business, it was like, it's all coming flooding back. So,
like there was nowhere to hide now from that grief. Dude.
No.
This is interesting insights, Andy.
Yeah, so no, there was nowhere to hide anymore. Being a perfectionist didn't work anymore. Working hard didn't work anymore. Yeah.
Well, I've got a business model for you. You and Luke Newman, right?
Yeah.
Luke's going to cut hair in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you're going to distribute cockroach wheels for him, okay? You two together, the best business model I can ever imagine.
We would have too much. We would have to sit there talking all day. He'd get no haircuts done and I'd get no wheels set on.
Yeah.
He's like...
Describe your relationship with him.
Hard to. It's funny, he used to be a team rider for me or whatever, and he was always more than that. He was so special to me. And he still is, you know. I don't know how to describe my relationship with him because it kind of it goes beyond friendship. It goes beyond, like I can't say, oh, he's my best friend. It's not like that. He's just, you know, we care for each other. We look into each other. We're there for each other. We care for each other. We look into each other's heart and soul. You know, it's he's a very special human being in so many ways, and I feel honoured that we're friends, you know. He's a great blessing. He's one of the people that stuck by me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, dude.
So that speaks volumes.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Well, a lot of people love you, Andy. So since a few of my friends know that I was coming to interview today and they want to give you a shout out. So Marty Baptist says to say hi. And when I was with Marty, he had some issues of your zine, like Thunderground and Thug. I've got a photo of him with those zines I'll show you.
Yeah.
Also, a friend, Jim Turvey, says to say hi. Says,
so nice.
Says, you're the nicest guy in the world. That's a quote from Jim. Cameron Guzev, who I grew up with, says to say hi. Says, hope you're well.
I've got a set of his wheels downstairs that we made.
The goose eggs?
I need to get them back to him.
Shit.
I need to get them to him.
I can take him down to you if you like.
So I need to get, an
I remember the
address or
goose
something.
eggs. We couldn't, because we're all his friends, and we couldn't believe that he had his own pro wheels.
Yeah, so I found a box the other day, and it's got the wheels we made for Wade, the loopy wheels we did for Shane Wallace, the goose eggs for Cam, the duck ponds for Blake.
Convy.
So I found a box full of these wheels, like just one set of each. Seb Steele's Wheels of Steel. I found a box with these in them. So I have got to drag it back out, get everybody's address and send all the wheels to them. So, but yeah.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah. I found a board we made for Simon Bundy, so I've got to get that to him. There are a few little things that I'd
So
like
you've kept some stuff. You've got some archives.
I've got a little bit.
Archives.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
No, not a great deal.
So I just wanted to, one thing I wanted to ask you, just going back to your children, how would you describe your relationship with your children in this day and age?
It's really wonderful. My son calls me every day.
Okay, but here's my question. If you were still deep in that business thing and being the workaholic that you were,
Yeah.
do you think you'd have this current relationship?
It's interesting to know how that would have panned out, because I think my son probably would have ended up working in the business.
Okay.
I think that was kind of his dream, and maybe my daughter's too. I'm not sure. She's a lawyer. She has just finished law, and is, she's a judge's associate at the moment, working really hard, and she's, they're both kicking goals as far as their careers go. Makes me very proud. Talk to them all the time, see them as much as possible. Just, they're beautiful kids, beautiful humans, Both have lovely partners. There's nothing's held back with them. When I was a kid, I didn't tell my dad I loved him, and he didn't tell me either. Me and my kids have a completely different relationship.
Well, how do you measure success? So to me, that sounds like success as a parent, as a human.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't even know if there is a measure for success. I think, being able to negotiate, the suffering that life brings you. I think being able to pick out the sparks of joy when they show up. I think being able to be grateful. I think maybe that's success. Being able to, I see people driving around and they're just, there's a great Joe Strummer quote about people being caught in their own little mouse trails, and He's talking about bringing humanity back into the ring and all that kind of stuff. I see people driving around and they're completely consumed by their own minds. I'm like, do you even know I'm like at the roundabout with you and like it's your turn to go? Or, you know, it blows my mind. And everywhere I go, there's people who are just consumed. And I feel real sorry for them, you know, because there's interactions to be had, good ones.
Definitely.
You know, and I want to be part of those. And, you know, Karen and I want to be part of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, maybe that's the measure of success, is to be able to recognise and be grateful for things.
And overcoming adversity, like, I don't know if I'm correct in saying this, but you've overcome adversity and you did it with integrity.
Yeah.
Maybe there might have been, I don't know exact details, but I think there's something to that. Like that.
I think, I've always struggled with my mental health.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah. So am I resilient in terms, I think I'm resilient. Would other people dub me as that? I'm not sure. But I'm still here.
Still here.
You know? So I think that's resilience. I've been able to do it come out the other end with compassion and love and kindness. And, you know, I still believe in people. So I think there's something in what you said.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
How you feeling now? You had
good.
Had enough?
No, I can talk for hours. I could talk for days. You know, it's funny. You talk about. I would like to say a few things.
Yeah, let's go.
Dwayne
Peters?
Yeah. It makes me sad that people trash him. I know he's having a tough time, but no one's walking in his shoes. The Dwayne I know is kind, generous, and he went out of his way to be there for me. One of the few people that stuck by me when everything went down. So, yeah, in my book, he's a ruler. Grosso. I miss him every day. One of my greatest gifts in skateboarding was getting to meet Jeff and form a relationship with him. Again, generous to a fault, completely kind, lots of fun. You know, he's the one who gave me my nickname, the Creeper. Funny stories behind that, but they're all good. You know, we had so much fun together. You know, I would go to the States, stay at his house. He would take me skateboarding. We'd go to all these fantastic places. You know, we'd skate Lance's pool together and, you know, with Lance and Eric Nash and John Lucero. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is dreams come true stuff. But Jeff was just so nice to me. And, I mean, there was true friendship. And that to me, like, really the heart and soul of skateboarding was back, you know. By the time I met Jeff, I was already working toward my exit strategy, and I was skateboarding heaps more. And it was important to me to skate more. And, yeah, me and Jeff rode a lot together. And I miss him. We talked so much. You know, every time I went there, I'd stay with him. Yeah. Sad. There's a candle over there for him.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Bit of a downer.
No, I'm glad. Thanks for sharing it.
Yeah. But, you know, there's a few people like that who've touched my heart. Yeah, like you said earlier, Luke's one of those.
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
There's a few out there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, like I only hear positive things about you, Andy. And you know, and it's, you know, just talking to you the last couple of hours, it's like you sort of said there's little moments of joy in a day, and there's been trauma in your life, but you know, really, like you've shared a lot of positivity, like a lot of good stuff happened.
Oh, yeah.
A lot, and in my mind, I think more good stuff happened than bad.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I wish it went down to my head.
Yeah, and like you said, we said at the start, it's like it's interesting how we default to only the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But it just came out of you, all the positive stuff just came out naturally then.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, man? You want to leave it there?
Yeah, I think so. Probably do a few more of these at some point.
Really? I mean, have you had many requests? Have you done much media?
A little bit. Like when the Museum of Brisbane had their thing going, I did some stuff with them. I did a talk at the Powerhouse in Brisbane, which was awesome.
Yeah, cool.
And that was really well attended. And
on what, like skateboarding and business?
And
or?
life.
Life, yeah.
Life skateboarding and business. And
because
it was really good.
It's been you got a wild story. You know, it's unique.
Yeah.
You know, I hope you have the courage and the strength to keep sharing it, because I know for a fact, and what I've learnt through doing this even is that it will help a lot of people. You could potentially save lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You ever consider that?
I would, if I could save a life, I would do whatever it took to do that. You know, if sharing my story can help people, anyone, I would do it in an instant. You know, I've been lucky because I've read a lot of books. I've done a lot of therapy. I don't know, it's funny. I feel like sometimes I talk to psychologists or whatever and go, yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway.
What do you mean you're not sure?
Well, you know, I have a wonderful psychologist.
Yeah.
And she gives me little nuggets of gold all the time. But she's just reminding me of stuff that I know. That
is it taking you back to the past too much?
I think it has potential to, but I think I can, working with a good psychologist, you know, the one I have, I direct stuff and she just runs with me, which is good. So, but yeah, I you know, work with psychologists, do the CBT, get all that stuff happening.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important.
I think so. Yeah, like, because I'm with you in terms of that mindset. Like, I'm determined for the second half of my life to be better than the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I've become increasingly reluctant to think or talk about the past anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I know that there's things you probably have to understand from the past to help you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I've done that because I feel that when I keep telling stories from the past, whether they're good or bad,
yeah,
it's sort of keeping me there. And I don't want to be defined by my past anymore.
No, wonderful.
You know, I want to be defined by visions of the future.
Yeah,
that's who I
yeah.
want to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe you're probably the same, right? You don't want to keep reliving.
Oh no, definitely not. And that's what I was talking about. I guess it touched on the whole, you know, reframing things, and I'm determined to move past if things enter my head, I'm like, all right, how can I reframe that? How can I rewrite that narrative so that those ideas don't enter my head anymore? And if they do, they're not hurtful. So, but I'm, as far as being defined by anything, I allowed myself to be defined as, as Andy the businessman, Andy Kwala, Andy the punk rocker, Andy the skateboarder, Andy all these things, and now I'm just Andy.
Yeah, you are.
I don't want any label anymore. I love music. I love music that makes me think. I love music that makes me laugh. I love music that makes me cry. I love music that inspires me. I love doing my art.
Yeah, dude.
I love painting. I love people who have inspired me with my painting, and most of all, I love riding my skateboard.
Yes. There's your therapy.
Yeah.
Skate session with your mates, having a chat and a laugh. Come on, man.
The best. I remember.
There's no psychologist that can do that for you.
We were skating the Gold Bowl one. This is a number of years back, maybe 10. Me and Luke, just the two of us, we were sitting on the stairs skating the Gold Bowl. And Luke looked at me and he goes, "This is church, Andy."
Hell yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, Jesus said anywhere where two people gather, I can't remember the exact quote, but Luke quoted the Bible, and I was just like, yeah, this is church. So now, on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I go to church,
Yeah.
And it's my church, the church of skateboarding, the church of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
Actually,
really good.
On a side note, tell us how the name Kwala came about. I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Was it, and I just want to ask you this quickly. Was it a strategic name because you were interacting with American brands and Kwala was like, oh, they're the Australian guys?
No, it kind of worked out like that, though. There was a crew of us kids in the Mount Gravatt area when we were growing up, and there's a guy named John Bryant. He was, I think he's 3 years older than me, and so I always looked up to him. John was great. We skated the wall together all the time. There's a couple other guys in the crew and more people got together. We skated, the crew got bigger. And anyway, Johnny comes up with the name Kwala. Like he liked the sound of it and he wanted something that was a little, crews had names back then for some reason.
Right, okay.
Like there was the Dog Towners and whatever. So I remember, so Johnny was like, yeah, let's have a little name, I don't think he actually thought of it consciously like that, but he came up with this thing called Kwala and, he showed up at the wall one day and there's this picture of a koala head scribbled on his board and Kwala written underneath it. And I was like, what's that? And he goes, that's Kwala. I'm like, oh, okay, can I draw that on my board too? And so we all did it and it became a thing. We, graffitied it places and where we skated and, I've got photos of graffiti that we've done, like Kwala graffiti.
Kwala. It was always that.
Yeah.
Not the Koala.
No, because we wanted it to sound... I think John wanted it to sound a little bit like punk rock, a little bit dirty, a little bit grungy, a little bit like a long drawn-out grind on concrete. Yeah. So, that's where it came from. But so when it came time to start a business, I just said to John, do you mind if I use the name? He's like, it's our name.
Yes.
You use it, go for it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There it is, everybody.
Yeah.
I reckon we leave it there, Andy.
Yeah,
good.
for sure. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much, Mr. Andy MacKenzie, everyone. Absolute honour.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.